Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vitvishavahay. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 6 to 10 of chapter 3. Karmendriyani sanyamya,
Karmendriyani sanyamya,
ya aste manasa smaran,
ya aste manasa smaran,
indriyartan vimudhatma,
indriyartan vimudhatma,
mithyachara sa uchyate,
mithyachara sa uchyate,
yastvindriyani manasa,
yastvindriyani manasa,
niyamyarabhaterjuna,
niyamyarabhaterjuna,
karmendriyai karmayogam,
Karmendriyai karmayogam,
asakta savishishyate,
asakta savishishyate,
niyatam kuru karmatvam,
niyatam kuru karmatvam,
karmajyayo hyakarmanaha,
karmajayo hyakarmanaha,
sharirayatra pichate,
sharirayatra pichate,
na prasidhyeda karmanaha,
na prasidhyeda karmanaha,
yajñarthat karmanonyatra,
यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र
lokoyam karma bandhanaha,
लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः
tadartham karma kaunteya,
तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय
mukta sangha samachara,
मुक्त युक्तसङ्गः समाचर
सह यज्ञाः प्रजाः सृष्ट्वा
सह यज्ञा प्रजा सृष्ट्वा
पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः
पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः
अनेन प्रसविष्यद्वम्
अनेन प्रसविष्यद्वम्
येषवोऽस्त्विष्टकामधुक्
येषवोऽस्त्विष्टकामधुक्
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So in the last session, we were seeing the different dimensions of this principle, Saktaha. Saktaha looks like a very simple word. That is especially the sadhana which he is giving, asaktaha, the opposite of attachment. But when you use the yogic approach and go deep into it, you will find that it is not something as simple as it appears to be. See, it is very interesting when you see a lot of show, generally the depth will be missing. I'm saying in any kind of presentation, there is a general kind of a rule or a trend we can see. Whenever something looks very spectacular, when you go a little inside, you will find that there is no big depth. And things which are genuinely deep, they will look very simple from outside. The same rule is applicable even with people also. People who have real depth, real stuff, they don't have the time to market themselves, because their entire energies are focused on that particular skill or art, whatever it is that they have. That is in the quality of whatever they are doing. So wherever there is quality, that depth, there is genuinely no time to make a show of it. And if you have a lot of time to make a show of whatever you're doing, you have to check. Is it that you're lacking depth, and in order to make up for that, you're doing all this? That is why what our yogis say is that simplicity is a hallmark of spirituality. Simplicity here does not mean poverty as many people think. Just because a person is rich doesn't mean that person is not spiritual. People confuse between simplicity and lack of something, like wealth. If a person doesn't have any wealth, they say how simple that person is. No, that person is lacking something. Simplicity means you have the capacity to get everything. You're a yogi, the mind is under your control. But you may not choose to acquire a few things because you want to invest your time and energy into whatever it is that you're doing, the quality, to improve the quality of what you're doing. So simplicity is a very positive quality. It is not lack of something. It is choosing not to have something because you're investing your time and effort on something else which is more deep. But if there is a requirement, if you require something, you always have the capacity to get it. So when someone doesn't have the capacity to acquire, let us say, wealth, that person is poor, immediately people think that is simplicity. Or a person does not have the capacity to do many things in life. Oh, that person is very detached. Asaktaha. Not necessarily. That's why I'm saying these words, not only asaktaha, we've been seeing several principles in this verse itself and also in all the previous verses. When you just read them, they look very simple. But when you use the yogic approach and go deep into these principles, you will find that genuinely it's like an ocean. You can go on swimming and it'll keep on refreshing you. That's the beauty. So, this is a beautiful principle which as sadhaks you can practice in life. Focus on the depth. Focus on the quality. Let the quality speak for itself. Don't try to cover up whatever you don't have by showing off. That will not work in the long run. You see, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, he has never done that. Actually, it's not only about the philosophy. Even as a person, if you see, Lord Krishna was a very simple person. See, he was the avatar, the infinite manifest in the finite form. Yet, he was extremely simple. Simple to such an extent where Arjuna didn't even suspect that Krishna was spiritual. Forget about Krishna's godly nature. He didn't even suspect that Krishna could be a little spiritually developed. That is why in the second chapter he asked him about some person, Sthitaprajna, a person who has achieved enlightenment and perfection. Can you describe that person? And all that he was asking because he didn't recognize Krishna's depth. So when we are mastering these principles using the yogic approach, you should also absorb the parts or the various aspects of the yogic approach itself and apply it in other areas of your life. This is very important. See, when the yogic approach is being taught to you, when you're exposed to that, you should not stop with merely this application. It has been applied, these principles have been expounded, the verse has been very deeply given, wonderful, and you stop with that. No. Whatever principles are being applied, here and there I am mentioning them. So keep your antennas open and absorb those so that you can apply them in the other areas of your life. So one of the things is, what looks so simple is so profound and deep. That's a beautiful principle for you to practice. That is actually Karma Yoga. I am mentioning this point here because Karma Yoga is truly producing quality work, not compromising on the quality of anything which you do. We have a tendency to not focus on the quality, rather our focus shifts to getting the appreciation of others. When you produce quality work and when someone recognizes it, you may acknowledge it. That is fine. But if you're doing the very work in order to get the appreciation of someone, then the quality will suffer. So how is it that not only the Bhagavad Gita, you go to all the other scriptures also, if you go to the Upanishads and all that, some of the most subtlest and profound principles are being given, but apparently they look very simple. They look so simple that you will think, oh, that's all. Huh? Okay, I have to just master this. Okay, you will just keep passing. But a person who has depth, he will get glued by these principles because he or she will have the capacity to penetrate and absorb the depth behind what is being given. So when we talk of simplicity, we are talking of being simple as a person. Your personality should be very simple, approachable. See, some people put on an artificial air around them. That is a manifestation of ego. You see, any master, true master, has a very simple personality. He is simple and straightforward. He does not try to be a master. He does not project, himself as someone else. He does not try to be a guru and all that. It is others who automatically recognize his role. But he is very simple. So when he says, one who restrains the senses with the mind and undertakes the karma yoga with the organs of action, practicing this simplicity, which means focusing on the quality of action rather than focusing on receiving appreciation. When you practice that, it will be extremely useful to master this karma yoga. Anyway, as we go along, when he touches upon this, that also we'll be seeing in more depth. So when you're trying to practice this wonderful principle of asaktaha, simplicity will be a very big aid in practicing non-attachment. See, when you're constantly thinking about what others will think about you, now that is a very deep-rooted attachment. You will never be happy. Actually, it's very interesting. Last week I had given you the sequence also, no? Within these dimensions itself, if you see, there is a sequence. Saktaha means being fond of something. At that stage, you can easily control your mind. But if you don't use your discrimination there, it can lead to attachment. And that will disturb you a lot. The moment you get attached to something or someone, you are bound to suffer. You will have a lot of fear of losing that person, and anything the person does will affect you. So if you don't wake up at that stage, then the attachment will become addiction. If you're in a stage of addiction with respect to anything in life, now that's a very dangerous state, I would say, because it will not allow you to function in life properly. You know, in the 22-day empowerment which we are going to have in November, December, that is the finding rhythm in life, we are going to see 12 aspects of life. Now what is interesting is, if you have an addiction to something, now that will affect all the 12 aspects of life, the life in its entirety. It will not allow you to earn wealth. See, when you are in a stage of attachment, you will be stressed. So you need to learn the stress management techniques. You can do more sadhana. You can take the guidance of the master, and slowly, you can come out of the stress. But if you are in a stage of addiction, now even the capacity to do sadhana will reduce tremendously, because you're vibrating at a very low frequency. Just imagine, if a person drinks alcohol, if he's under the influence of alcohol, and then supposing he listens to this discourse, now what is it that he will absorb? His consciousness itself has gone down, no? So how will he be able to absorb this? So a person who is addicted to something, he'll be vibrating at a very low frequency. So that will prevent him from even doing sadhana properly. Externally he may do some sadhana, but the energy which he absorbs will be almost zero, we can say. And slowly he'll start becoming dysfunctional in life. That is the greatest danger of addiction. See, whatever aspects that when we come to that empowerment, I'll be giving you all the 12 aspects. But here I'm just mentioning a few to explain this point. Simple roles in life also he'll not be able to play. If he's a family person, he'll not be able to take care of the family. He will not be a good father. He'll not be a good husband. Vice versa also. Wife may not be. He will not be able to earn wealth. His health will deteriorate. The entire life becomes so low in quality. That is why our masters were against this addiction, because it reduces the level of a person terribly. And once you get addicted, then the next two come into the picture. That is, you get stuck. You're unable to withdraw yourself. This is what people who are addicted to alcohol and smoking and all that, and when they want to leave that, they call those as withdrawal symptoms. See, when you're stuck with something, when you try to withdraw, that causes a lot of disturbance, but you will have to go through that. That pain is better than the pain which the addiction is actually giving you. See, the most interesting part is, when you're addicted to something, it gives you that immediate pleasure, the pleasure of the moment. but the rest of the life is miserable. When a person tries to overcome this addiction, there may be those withdrawal symptoms, that is, that immediate pain, the pain of the moment. But if he goes through that, the entire life will become wonderful. It is a choice. It is the same thing with attachment also, but the degree varies. In attachment, it is very less, the suffering, compared to addiction. But compared to the previous one, which is just merely being fond of something, attachment is also deadly. It can really disturb you and cause a lot of stress in your life. So once you get to that stage of being stuck, then to pull your mind away becomes very, very difficult. All your faculties, lose their powers. When two objects are stuck and you try to forcibly separate, it causes a lot of disfiguration. It can tear and all that. So similarly, those withdrawal symptoms will be there. If you allow yourself in the same pattern, then you will get fixed. Fixed means the process of withdrawal itself will become almost impossible. You will actually start going down. The consciousness will start devolving. Then it's one big cycle which you need to complete and get back. That is why he is specially mentioning this principle of asakta. One hand he says, do karma yoga. Actually, karma yoga itself includes this principle of asakta. But apart from mentioning that, he is also stressing on this principle of asakta, because this is where a person can actually fall. See, this is a beautiful style which he is following in terms of communication. If he just says do karma yoga, actually it covers everything. But he doesn't stop with that. Whatever problems which you will face when you're doing karma yoga, what are the various blocks which you will face? So he is also stressing on that principle from karma yoga itself. Separately, he is stressing on that, which will give you a solution to those issues which you will face. This is a very beautiful way of communicating, because many a times when you communicate to someone, you may be factually right, but the other person will not receive whatever you're actually trying to communicate. So apart from being factually right, you should also see what are the things which you should stress upon, so that that person gets the correct message. Many times you say, I have communicated it to that person. But when you ask that person, he'll say, no, that is not what he said, this is what he said. You may factually say, no, don't you remember I said this? Yes, you may have factually said that, but your emphasis is very important, because the human mind tends to focus on what the other person emphasizes on. Krishna, being a master psychologist also, he knows the condition of Arjuna's mind. If he simply tells him, do karma yoga, now Arjuna will just externally nod, but he will really not get the message. So whatever he wants Arjuna to absorb, It's not that he wants personally. Whatever principles will actually help Arjuna come out of the emotional turmoil which he is going through. Now Krishna stresses on those principles apart from just merely factually stating. See, if you have to just merely factually state, we don't need these Sunday sessions week after week. Just factually it can be told. You are the infinite. What should you do? Do sadhana. What sadhana? Do yoga sankirtan sadhana. There ends it. Doesn't that cover everything? When we say you are the infinite God, do the yoga sankirtan sadhana every day. Or even we'll put it even more generally, do sadhana every day. Now if just those two lines are given to you, now what will you really understand? What will you practice? So there is no point in just merely saying that and then saying, I did tell you, do your sadhana, but you are not doing. That is not an effective way of communicating. A master is acutely aware of this. Whenever he talks to the student, he is very much aware what the student is absorbing, what the student will not absorb. So apart from factually stating whatever has to be stated, he picks out those things which are very, very important, which can create a lot of impact, and he also stresses on those factors, on those aspects. Then that will go and sit in the student's mind. You can incidentally practice this in your communication. It'll make you a very effective communicator. Don't be happy with merely conveying a message to someone. You need to study the psychology of the other person and ensure that what you have conveyed has been received by the other person in the way you want that person to receive. That is the most difficult part of communication. So the reason why we are having it week after week, just that one line, you are the infinite. It takes a lifetime to absorb that. Do sadhana. What is sadhana? What are the blocks which you will face? What are the different aspects? It's a very deep principle. So all that one by one, when it is emphasized and given, slowly the mind will start absorbing them, and the purification will start happening. So here Krishna has picked that principle of asaktaha from Karma Yoga, because that is the main issue of the mind. The attachment is the main issue of the mind. If you can master that one quality, the rest of the things will automatically follow. But that is the most difficult thing to master. That also, I'm just giving you that caution, because don't take it so lightly and say, I am under control, I am not attached. And actually, if you see people who are addicted, they will say, I am not addicted. Most people who are addicted are unable to come out of addiction because they say, I am not addicted. All others only will be saying you are addicted, but that person will feel, no, anytime I want to give up, I'll give up. And why don't you give up? Some reason they'll give. It's easy to intellectually understand this, but it takes a while to absorb and practically experience this asaktaha which he's talking about. So, I told you about the 4 purposes, right, of action, the abhivyakti, that is, you have to find out what your talents are, what your skills are, and manifest whatever your nature is in a unique way. Then sad means achievement. Yogadanam means contributing, giving back to the world. And then Adhyatma Unnati means spiritual evolution. These are the four purposes. Now, this saktaha, that is the attachment, can come and spoil. When you're trying to practice those four, this can come and spoil the whole thing. That is why he is mentioning it separately. Practice detachment, practice objectivity. We'll just see that briefly. See, abhivyakti means whatever your nature is, you manifest. If you are a singer, you should manifest that nature. If you are a painter, that is, if you have painting skills, you should manifest that. And you should become better in that. Similarly, if you are an accountant, if you have that nature, that skill, you need to work on that. Now, how can attachment come and spoil? See, when you try to manifest your unique nature, you should be objective about it. If you get attached to your own unique skills, you will develop an ego. You will develop self-consciousness, and you will also develop a complex. The complexes come from ego only. Quickly you will start comparing yourself with others, and you will see whether I am superior or inferior. All these disturbances will start coming. So, if you have a talent or a skill and you are working on it, you should learn to do it without attachment. That is karma yoga. If you merely just focus on your skills, that is only one part of karma yoga. But it is not karma yoga in its entirety. So you have to bring in this aspect of detachment. So if you get attached to one particular skill, see, there are a lot of people who have wonderful talents and they become highly egoistic about those talents. Just because you are talented in something, now you should not develop an ego over that, because others will be talented in something else which you don't have. There is a famous poem, which we have read in our school days, The Mountain and the Squirrel. The mountain was highly egoistic, So it spoke in a very condescending way to the squirrel. It tried to belittle the squirrel. The mountain said, I am carrying forests on my back, whereas what are you? Nothing. Yours is a small little one, useless. This is what it was trying to say. To which the squirrel gave a beautiful reply. The squirrel said, I agree. You carry forests on your back. No doubt you carry forests on your back. But tell me, can you crack a nut? I have this talent of cracking a nut. Can you do that? It's a beautiful poem. They say that this poem is meant for children. But actually, it is meant for adults more, I would say. Because from a spiritual point of view, everyone is a child only. So if the mountain is good in something, the squirrel says, I am good in cracking a nut, which you cannot do. So when you explore your talents, when you explore your skills, that is abhivyakti, and when you develop them further, and when you start manifesting them in your life, remember do it with asakta, non-attachment. Don't allow that to pollute your thinking. They say, no, don't allow it to get into your head, they say. It's a layman's way of putting the same point. So when it comes to abhivyaktihi, attachment can be deadly. And not only that, as you become more attached and addicted to something, it will prevent you from flowering. It will prevent you from developing your unique skills and talents. The addiction will become a block. It will not allow you to explore your talents also. So that is another block which will be created. That is why he says, practice asaktaha. See, one by one, if we take these four purposes, and then when we say practice asaktaha, it becomes very, very clear. So in life, the first thing you need to do is understand your limited self. The infinite self is the highest. But first, who are you as a person? Explore your uniqueness, your wonderful talents. Everyone has certain skills, certain talent. So it's your duty to explore that. And you have to become better in that, in whatever you have a natural talent. But when you're doing that, remember to do it in the spirit of asakta. Number one. Number two, the second purpose which we saw was sadh, achievement. So fix goals in life and start achieving them. That is very important in terms of achieving success in the world and also growing spiritually. So even in the 22-day empowerment, the finding rhythm in life, I'll be making you fix goals in each of these aspects. And when the empowerment Shakti is being given, and when you write down your goals at that time, they will crystallize and they will manifest very fast. That is the whole idea of the empowerment. So when you are fixing your goals and when you go out and function, when you act in order to achieve, you have to again do it in a detached way. If you get over attached to the very process of achievement or to the goal, then you will get so worked up about acting, about doing your work, that will cause a lot of stress. Many people, they are great achievers, but they lose their peace of mind in the process of achievement. So some of them conclude, they say, therefore best is not to achieve anything because achievement causes stress. It is not achievement which causes stress. It is your attachment which causes stress. Please understand this. So what the masters are saying is, go about achieving great things in life. That is what you're meant for. If you're in the family, do those duties properly. That is a great achievement. If you're doing business, achieve in your field of activity, whatever be the field of activity. We are not defining any particular parameters for achievement here. Your field of activity is based on your skills, which we saw in Abhivyakti. Now in that field, achieve to whatever extent you can achieve. That expands your consciousness. But do it in a detached way. Otherwise, whenever you achieve, that will cause a lot of stress. And not only that, again, you will develop a lot of ego. People who achieve some small thing now develop so much of ego over it. A yogi is one who has the capacity to achieve anything which he wants, materialize, he's mastered that Shakti, that power of materialization, but no ego whatsoever, no attachments. So, with respect to Sad, again, Saktaha, attachment is very dangerous. Then we'll see the third thing, Yoga Danam, which is contributing, doing seva. How am I to contribute to this world? How can I make a difference to others? Now, if you become very attached in Yoga Danam, then again that will cause a lot of stress for you. I know people who say, I'm working for a social cause and all that, and they become more agitated. Why? Because, see, whenever you're trying to help someone, I'm just using the word help in a free way, but otherwise in the yogic language we always use the word serve, because helping can be a little egoistic also, but serving means we are making ourselves humble and we are doing something good to the other person. So in a loose way I'm just saying help. So when you're trying to help someone, what are you doing? You're trying to remove some suffering of that person. Now there, if you get attached, it's a very dangerous situation, because you will get highly stressed about that person's suffering. Few years back, it happened in Chennai, in India, where the entire Chennai was flooded. And there were a lot of people who were trying to help others. Not only in Chennai, in many parts of Tamil Nadu that happened. So there was one sadhak, every day morning he used to go for that flood relief work. He thought, let me now practice unconditional love, which I've been learning. So he went for 3 days. The mistake which he made was he stopped doing the daily sadhana. He thought, let me go and, there's an emergency, let me go and help. But after 3 days, he ended up becoming very highly agitated, because every day when he went for the flood relief activity, he saw people suffering. And when he kept on seeing that suffering, now that energy got into him. 4th day, he was unable to even get up. He was feeling so down, thoughts of depression and, such negative thinking took over him. And he asked me, sir, what should I do? Then I told him, are you continuing with your sadhana? He said, no sir, that alone I postpone. I said, don't do that. Because sadhana every day will give you that asaka, that detachment. It is like, pulling your consciousness and getting settled inward. So do your sadhana, I told him. What is the point in saying I'll go and help others, and in the process if you completely absorb all that negative energy and you buckle under that, then even the very capacity to help will go away. The yoga dhanam will go for a 6. So that is why it is very important to practice asakta. He did that just for a day or two. Actually, the very next day when he did the sadhana, all these things got released and he got back the strength. He did a lot of seva. So if you want to do yoga dhanam in any way, whether it is material service or whether it is physical service or whether it is emotional service or intellectual service is parting of knowledge. Or spiritual service comes only through spiritual development. So great masters do the spiritual service, but in a very detached way. Any service, any seva which you want to do, asaktaha, is extremely important. And then the fourth aspect, which is Adhyatma Unnati, the spiritual development. Now you may wonder, in spiritual development, what is the problem? There at least I can be attached. The masters say no. If you get too worked up about the spiritual goal also, you will suffer. You will become result oriented. You will become highly impatient. There are many people who just do sadhana for a few weeks, few months, and then they say, oh, nothing is happening, nothing is happening. That shows impatience. See, how the sadhana works is that it starts the purification process, it starts the cleaning process. Now, let us say an object is stained and you start cleaning it. First, the superficial stains will go away. Then the next layer of dirt will be cleaned. Next layer, next layer. Some stains will be very, very deep. The groove will, there will be a groove which has been formed. So to clean that will take time. It is the same thing with respect to your personality also. Certain very superficial negativities will get released very fast. Certain deep-rooted negativities may take a little while. So you need to have that patience. What makes you impatient in the spiritual path? It is saptaha, attachment. So if you get attached, it's a very terrible thing, even in the spiritual path. Because once you become impatient, now it will prevent you from doing your sadhana in a peaceful way. That is why he says, one who undertakes karma yoga, the yoga of action with the organs of action, asaktaha, unattached. So if you practice this asaktaha, that will help you to fulfill those four purposes of life, the four purposes of action: abhivyakti, sadh, yogadhanam and adhyatma unnati. If you do your sadhana on a daily basis in a spirit of detachment, you will grow spiritually very fast. So whether it is worldly achievement or whether it is spiritual achievement, asaktaha is the key. And that is why he says, one who does all this in an unattached way, such a person vishishyate, saha vishishyate, means he excels. Whether it is worldly achievement or spiritual achievement. If you want to excel, the key is in this principle, asaktaha. So having covered all this, now if we see what does it mean by vishishya, it will make a lot of sense. Vishishya means excelling in something. That should be your very way of functioning in life. Anything which you do, you should always strive for excellence in that. It is an essential aspect of karma yoga. Just as asaktaha, the non-attachment is an essential aspect of karma yoga, visishya, the principle of visishya is another facet of karma yoga which is extremely important. So visishya means the direct meaning of visishya, that's what I have put here also. He excels. So the mind has the tendency to compromise. You generally compromise and you don't go for the best. The mind wants all the benefits. In that itself, many people compromise. But general weakness of the mind is, It wants all the benefits, but when it comes to work or action, it compromises. Remember, if you practice this principle of Visishya, excelling in your efforts, achieving excellence in your efforts, now you will get all the wonderful benefits. You get whatever you deserve in life, not merely what you desire. Desire is also a factor, but just because you desire something doesn't mean you'll get it. You will have to deserve it. And what is the deserving? It is Vishishya. Achieving excellence in your efforts first. And when you achieve excellence in your efforts, in proportion to that, you will get your rewards. And that is what you call as, yes, this person has succeeded. When your rewards in life are not in proportion to your efforts, which means you have put in less effort, but you have become successful, such success will not be long lasting. There are many people who achieve short-term success. They use shortcuts, Yes, the graph goes up and then they have a big fall and everything goes away. When you gradually build your life on your efforts rather than using shortcuts, you are building a very strong foundation. So you are meant to excel in whatever you're doing. You have that capacity within you. But unfortunately, as we saw, the saktaha, the various attachments and addictions actually prevent you from achieving what your true potential is. Vishishya means achieving your potential. As a human being, you have infinite potential within you. You have infinite powers. All those are dormant. Why? Because of this saktaha. It does not matter what you're attached to or whom you're attached to. That weakness can manifest anywhere, but that will prevent you from excelling in life. So that is why he says, if you practice those things, you will definitely achieve excellence. You will excel in whatever it is that you're doing. And in a very broad way, see, what is it that you want? You want to excel in the world. You want to, excel means what? You want to be successful in the world. You also want to be successful in terms of inner growth, which is the spiritual development. Both are covered by this quality, by this word, Vishishya. So, he excels, that is a effect of the practice of Karma Yoga with asaktaha. It is also defining the path for you. When you're doing something, go on making it better and better. Become better in whatever it is that you're doing. Keep on excelling in what you're doing. If you ensure that you achieve excellence in what you're doing, you will also ensure that the results of what you're doing will be excellent for you. That is the very logic of Karma Yoga. Because see, Karma Yoga is based on the cause and effect. Every effect has a cause. Every cause has an effect. So if you want wonderful effects in life, these masters are saying focus on the cause. And what is the fundamental cause here which we're talking about? Your actions, your efforts. That is within your control. If you keep complaining about others' behavior, now is that under your control? No. So your life will go down further. You will become more weak. If someone is not doing something properly, how to deal with that person, that is within your control. But you don't focus on that. You go on complaining, this is not okay, that is not okay, I have not been given any opportunities, politics is happening, blah, blah, blah. Your mind goes on into that mode of complaining. It never focuses on the simple fact, okay, what should I do in this situation? How can I do it better? How can I achieve excellence in whatever I am doing? So the motto of Karma Yoga is strive for excellence. You can make a note of this. This principle will transform your life. You will become great achievers if you just follow this. All the four purposes will be so effectively fulfilled if you practice the simple principle of striving for excellence in whatever you're doing, which means right now, today, whatever activity you're doing, doesn't matter whether that is small or big. See, all the small, big, these are all interpretations given by the mind. So whatever it is that you're doing, try to do it in a better way. That is the sadhana of Vishishya. I didn't cover this Vishishya initially because all this has to be covered. And when everything is covered and finally when we come to Vishishya, you will understand the impact of that. So if you are an accountant today, or if you first see what are the activities you're doing. Let us say you're doing cooking. Cook in a better way. You're in the IT field, whatever work you're doing, do that in a better way. If you say, I am a singer, then sing in a better way. How will you sing in a better way? Only if you practice on a daily basis. If you are a designer, now keep on bettering your designs. That is the sadhana of Vishishya, excelling. Moment by moment, if you focus on making your efforts better, it is your efforts which is going to give the results in life. The quality of the results have to improve. Nobody is stopping you from achieving what you want in life. It is you who is stopping yourself by putting blocks. If you are a businessman doing business, every day keep learning and growing. Learn the business skills. Like there was an entrepreneur who came and met me. He said right from day one he has only been facing losses. I said, how many years? More than 7 years, he said. Loss after loss after loss after loss. So I asked him, what is your knowledge of finance management? Within a few questions, it was easily seen that he had no idea of how to manage the finance. Those business skills were not learnt by him. And he straight away thought he can become a great entrepreneur. I said, no, you should first work under someone and learn those skills. Or you should learn by yourself, keep on improving. But 7 years back, whatever it is that you're doing the same thing now. So the quality of your actions have not improved. You have not excelled in, you have not achieved excellence in terms of your effort. But results alone, you want them to become wonderful. How is that possible? So what I suggested to him was join some courses, learn the business skills. So this formula can be applied in any area of your life, whether you're doing business, whether you're cooking, whether you're cleaning something, let's say you're cleaning your room, you can do it better than what it was earlier. In every area, if you start following this, relating with people, vishishyate, vishishya, keep on striving for excellence. Don't think whatever you're doing now is the best. The day you think that, your growth will stop. A yogi is one who considers himself as a nitya shishya, eternal student. See, who is a good student? One who tries to achieve excellence in whatever he is doing. That is the learning process, no? So a master never considers himself as a master. He only sees himself as a student who is going on learning and trying to achieve excellence in what you're doing. Divinity is in trying to achieve excellence. You become so divine when you do that. The entire nature is moving towards perfection only. And when you also strive to be more and more perfect in a detached way, if you get attached there, again you'll become result oriented. Oh, I have this fault, I have that fault. It's not for that. So if you keep on striving for perfection, for excellence, then you become a divine person. That is why, if you see a yogi's life, you will always find that a yogi practices two things. He will keep on learning. He will never shy away from asking questions. See, you generally don't ask questions because that ego comes. Oh, what will happen if I exhibit my ignorance? But a yogi never has all those issues because his focus is on this principle of vishishya. Anything which he does, he keeps learning and he keeps improving. Today I am this, tomorrow I will become better. Yesterday I was that, today I will become better. So becoming better and better on a daily basis. That is the sadhana of vishishya. Such a beautiful principle, See, if you see this verse, it's so powerful. On one hand, it talked about the niyamya, the restraining the mind, that is conservation of energy. Your mind is getting dissipated everywhere. So he said, now conserve your energies. That gives you so much of power. Next, he said, you have these karma indriyas, where we saw the four purposes. It increases that power, when you just by understanding these four purposes, it makes you so powerful. When you start practicing them, there's a tremendous transformation. And then he said karma yoga. Move from karma to karma yoga, from action to perfection in action, union with the infinite. And then he said asaktaha, which is a very powerful principle. And finally he concludes by saying vishishya, practice vishishya. Vishishya is an effect, it is also the cause. If you start practicing vishishya in your life, which is striving for excellence, your process will become so wonderful. And when the process becomes wonderful, the results which will come to you, the results which will be achieved will also become wonderful. It is like choosing the right soil, planting the right seed, watering that every day, protecting it whatever, if some protection is required, you need to protect that. That is doing everything which you need to do. If all those are proper, then the tree which comes out of the seed will also be a very strong tree because the roots are very strong. So, Vishishya means making each and every ingredient of your process very powerful and excellent. That is the key. See, when you do the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana, when the Yoga Sankirtan material is being created, someone asked me this, so why does it take so long to create one Yoga Sankirtan material? Almost 1 year, 2 years. One is, of course, the higher energy has to be decoded and put in a user-friendly form for you all to easily digest. Otherwise, the raw form of that Yoga Sankirtan energy this will be too difficult for a person to handle. Now, when that is being converted and made easy for people, each and every ingredient we look into and try to perfect. One is the vocals, that gives the energy. But when we talk of the instruments and all that, every aspect of the instrument, whether it's in terms of how much volume should it be, sometimes we go into such details of 0.5 dB increase, decrease. That can make a big difference. When all those ingredients are made wonderful, then the combination, the result which it produces, the impact is tremendous, That's why I'm saying this Vishishya is to be practiced in everything which you do. No activity is low, small or big. Anything which you do, practice this Vishishya. And what I put it in a very simple way for you. Vishishya means excelling, striving for excellence, trying to become better in whatever it is that you're doing. So we'll stop with that. It's a very powerful principle I've given. You just reflect on this, reflect on asaktaha with relation to the 4 purposes also we saw. The mechanism of attachment we saw last week. So today, the further application of asaktaha and also this wonderful principle of Vishishya, which is striving for excellence. See, these are all inputs which cannot be the benefits of these inputs cannot be quantified. These principles will transform your life in unimaginable proportions. It all depends on how you practice. So you just spend some time in reflecting on these 2 points, asaktaha on one hand and Vishishya. So asaktaha, I gave you the homework last week itself, find out the areas. Now you can see with respect to these 4 purposes, it will make it more specific. When it comes to Vishishya, just look into what you're doing today in life. What was I yesterday? Have I become better today? Every day you become better and better. You go on striving for excellence. That attitude will help you in your spiritual evolution. A person who strives for excellence will never become impatient, incidentally, because his or her pleasure is in striving for excellence, not in merely achieving the results by using some shortcut methods and all that. The very process becomes so enjoyable. So spend some time today and this week, examine your own actions and start thinking on these terms. That is, whatever it is that I'm doing, how to make that better. Do I need to learn some skills? Do I need to learn some knowledge, technical knowledge, this, that, to make my actions better? You yourself will start finding ways by which you can improve, you can make your activities better. Do I need to consult someone to improve in this area? Just ask yourself. It's a very beautiful exercise. This is a fundamental sadhana which you should do, and that will lead to a tremendous self-improvement, self-development. And 100% self-improvement or self-development is enlightenment. So the small principle can lead you right up to the infinite. Okay, so now we'll do the Nididhyasana meditation. I will install these principles in the deeper layers of your mind. See, the difference between these sessions and the empowerment is, in the empowerment course, apart from the healing, empowerment and all that, certain principles will be ingrained, but that is, we go into more depth. Here we go into the few deeper layers of the mind, which keeps on preparing you, which is itself will create such a big impact. In an empowerment course, the installation will be done at the consciousness level. So that's why each meditation session in the empowerment course is very long. And of course, when I'm saying long, only in terms of time, but when you're in it, you don't feel the passage of time. Many people have asked me whether we can increase it further also. So through this, you're being prepared to receive the higher energy during the empowerment courses. Okay, so sit in a relaxed way and bring your focus here. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. I am not this physical body. I am not these emotions. I am not these thoughts. I am that supreme infinite self which is beyond everything. From this moment onwards, I choose to do karma yoga. I choose to practice the sadhana of asakta, non-attachment. I choose to strive for excellence in each and everything which I do. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. Such a powerful session we had today, because these principles are so powerful. This entire chapter, the Karma Yoga, chapter 3, is going to infuse so much of power in your life. The process has already started. You would be experiencing that. So that's going to keep on increasing. So you need to absorb these principles, and whatever inspires you, start practicing that. Don't postpone the practice of this wisdom. I'll practice next year. I'll practice later. Right now, what it is that I can do, and how best can I do that? That is Vishishya. Okay. And regarding this finding rhythm in life, which we're going to have, as I told you, I'm preparing you from now itself to do your sadhana on a daily basis, because that will prepare you further. And from the moment you register, you will be receiving a lot of healing, which is very much required. Some cleanup is required before you attend the empowerment. So every day I'm spending some time in sending the healing Shakti for all the participants who have registered. So when that cleaning up happens, you will find that your sadhana will become more deep. You will start finding some blocks being removed already. Some good things will start happening. So take it as a higher blessing, and with gratitude, what is very important is for you to be consistent in your sadhana. That part you should do. There are other questions which have been asked, like what is exactly rhythm, what is laya sadhana and all that. I'll briefly cover it if you want here and there, but we have 22 days to explore that, no? See, if you ask me what you're going to take in this 22 days, things like that, what is the point in covering all that here? That is what the course is meant for. So ask questions pertaining to the course, not about the each and every aspect of that, because that is not possible to explain. If you ask me what is Laya Sadhana, I mean, the course 1 week will be spent on that only. 6 different Laya Sadhanas will be given to you, to find the rhythm. These are all very deep secrets of the Siddhas. So how can I just explain like that within few minutes? So that's where you need to practice a little bit of patience. Certain things can be understood only experientially. So the other doubts you definitely ask, we will clarify that. Okay. So thank you very much. I'll see you in the next session. Hari Om.